he's likely going to win the race because almost nobody had the talent to go with him. That is also why Sam Blaskowski has challenged himself.
What if one of the fastest men alive came from a small Division III school in Wisconsin, with no major scholarship, no elite program, and no spotlight? This is the story of an overlooked athlete who worked a regular job while chasing an impossible dream. He wasn't handed fame, attention, or perfect training conditions. He earned everything through belief, discipline, and relentless work. Then, almost out of nowhere, he shattered expectations and ran times so fast, even legends like Usain Bolt would notice. Overlooked talent emerges. Sam Blaskowski's story begins not with grand expectations, but with quiet dismissal. Growing up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, a typical Midwestern town hardly known for producing world-class sprinters, Sam was never the spotlight athlete. He played flag football, basketball, indoor soccer, and even swam competitively, dabbling in many sports without any clear focus on sprinting. When he got cut from the basketball team in high school, he turned to track, not because of destiny, but simply because he needed something to do that winter. What happened next was unexpected. Sam's natural speed began to show. In his senior year, he ran the 100 meters in 10.83 seconds and the 200 meters in 21.99 seconds. Those times earned him Wisconsin state championships in both events. Plus, he took home the long jump title as well. 3 state championships in 1 year would typically attract serious attention from Division I college programs. But in Sam's case, the calls never came. Every big program looked at his results and decided to pass. The only offer he received was from a Division III school, the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. That school was familiar territory for Sam. Both his parents had gone there, and it sat just 1 mile from his grandparents' home. But Division III doesn't offer athletic scholarships. It doesn't have the facilities or the media coverage of higher divisions. To many, it's a world away from the elite sprinting scene Sam dreamed of. This rejection wasn't just about numbers on a stopwatch. It was a message. Despite winning multiple state titles, Sam was told that he wasn't good enough by every Division I coach. For a sprint event where hundredths of a second matter, this dismissal was brutal, but it planted a seed of defiance. If the system wouldn't believe in him, he would prove them wrong in his own way. What makes this disappearance from the radar so perplexing is just how fast Sam really was. That 10.83 is impressive for a high school senior switching sports, yet that performance didn't cut through the noise of recruiting eyes locked on more traditional sprint powerhouses. The question loomed, was this just a talented local athlete in a small pond, or was there a world-class sprinter hidden beneath the radar? Sam's early story highlights an uncomfortable truth in American track and field. Sometimes talent is missed because it doesn't fit the typical mold. Division III colleges rarely produce global sprinters, and the system is designed to elevate athletes from high-profile programs. But Sam's journey was just beginning, and it would soon become clear that those initial judgments were far from the whole story. This initial struggle set the stage for something extraordinary, but the path ahead was anything but traditional. He was headed somewhere unlikely to captivate audiences, yet ready to build a resume no one could ignore. The most important revelation about this overlooked talent, however, would come later. His story invites us to question assumptions about where elite sprinters come from. What if the system's no isn't the final answer? Sam's rise from this overlooked place was just warming up, and his next chapter would show what it really means to overcome obscurity against all odds. Before we get to the astonishing breakthrough, it's worth understanding exactly what it means to build a career in Division III athletics and why that matters so much for Sam's journey. Life in Division III. Division III athletics exists in a different world than the shiny stadiums and televised meets of Division I. There are no athletic scholarships, limited media coverage, and far fewer resources for athletes chasing national or professional ambitions. For Sam, enrolling at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse meant stepping into this quieter scene, where excellence is achieved with far less recognition. In his freshman year, Sam quickly proved he belonged. He won the national D3 title in the 100 meters, beating competitors from programs with similar challenges but no pathway to professional stardom. Then he did it again and again. 4 consecutive national titles in the 100 meters, 3 straight championships in the 60 meters indoors, and 3 more wins in the 200 meters marked him as a dominant force within Division III. By the time he graduated, Sam held 11 individual national titles in Division III track, one of the most decorated sprint careers in Division III history. Yet despite this unprecedented dominance, his accomplishments barely registered outside the small bubble of D3 athletics. The wider track world, particularly the elite Diamond League circuit and World Championship selectors, largely ignores times from this level. That's because winning Division III usually involves running the 100 meters in the low 10s, somewhere between 10.2 and 10.4 seconds. Those times represent genuine speed, but they don't compete with elite sprinters who clock under 10 seconds on the global stage. The gap between Division III performances and what it takes to reach Olympic finals is immense. The two levels exist almost in separate universes. This gulf raises a critical question. Could Sam break out of this separate world? Was he truly an elite talent trapped in a lower division, or simply the fastest among a limited field? The track world wasn't sure, and neither were many experts. For a sprinter, times are everything. And measured purely by that standard, his record was extraordinary, but not extraordinary enough. For 4 years, Sam dominated in a corner of the sport that few outside his region seriously followed. The sparkle of his achievements was muted by the shadow of Division III's lack of prestige. Yet, he kept pushing, training, competing, and refining his technique even without the recognition or financial support he deserved. There was no shortcut or easy path, just relentless effort. His experience in Division III also reinforced how many talented athletes slip through the cracks. The system prioritizes certain schools and networks, leaving gifted competitors like Sam underfunded and underexposed. But something was different about him. His body and mind were adapting, preparing for a moment that would disrupt the assumptions of scouts and coaches nationwide. Sam's Division III story is a testament to perseverance, but it also underscores the challenges facing overlooked talent in the sport. He was winning titles, yet everywhere else the question remained, can he run with the world's best? That question set the stage for the moment when Sam would finally test himself against the fastest men in the country. The answer to that test would reveal whether he was truly elite or just a standout in a smaller pond. A moment of clarity that was fast approaching. Breaking records in the shadows. Despite Sam's dominance at the Division III level, transitioning from there to the global stage is rarely straightforward. While a handful of D3 athletes have made waves in other sports, sprinting has remained elusive territory. Winning multiple national titles at this tier means you're fast, but not yet fast enough for the World Championship finals or Olympic podiums. Sam's personal best times hovered around 10.05 seconds entering his final college season. That mark was impressive, faster than many competitors, but still just outside what is considered world-class sprinting. Breaking the 10-second barrier remains an elusive goal for most sprinters, a benchmark of true elite status. Critics and skeptics began asking hard questions. Was Sam really an elite sprinter in the making, or just the fastest slow guy? Would his talent hit a ceiling the moment he faced competitors who had trained with Nike contracts and Olympic aspirations? Nobody could give a definitive answer yet. The gap in competition level was too wide, and until he raced the best, those doubts lingered. Then came the 2024 U.S. Olympic trials, where Sam earned a chance to see himself among America's top sprinters. This stage marked his first race against professional athletes, Olympians, and multiple World Championship finalists. And while he did not make the team, he held his own, proving he belonged on those tracks. For the first time, attention turned toward this kid from Wisconsin who no one expected to compete at such a level. The skeptics had to pause, even if some still doubted whether this was a breakthrough or just a fleeting glimpse. Sam's performance showed potential, but stopped short of a definitive breakthrough. This period was also when the true nature of Sam's determination became clear. After exhausting college competition, he faced a crossroads: accept the system's verdict or fight for a professional career against overwhelming odds. His decision to continue chasing this dream defined the next phase of his journey. What made Sam's pursuit even more remarkable was that he had no professional contract, no sponsor, and no big-name coaches backing him up at this point. Instead, he took on a job at a small regional airport in Wisconsin, working off hours and saving every dollar, all to fund a move to Florida in search of better training opportunities. This choice reflects a rare kind of grit, the willingness to scrape, sacrifice, and step into uncertainty, fueled only by belief in oneself. His story highlights not only athletic talent, but also the human spirit behind the stopwatch, laying the groundwork for his eventual rise from the shadows. As Sam prepared to join a world-class training group, his early record-breaking successes in Division III felt like only the beginning of an extraordinary journey that no one had anticipated.
My goals and stuff I want to go out there and come home happy is I want to make that semifinal, and then our main goal is can we get into that semifinal on Sunday and then maybe even make the final.
Sam's path from overlooked recruit to national champion and then to testing the top echelons of sprinting shows a man ready to shatter expectations. What followed would leave the entire track world stunned. The Olympic Trials Test. The 2024 U.S. Olympic Trials presented Sam Blaskowski with a critical chance to measure himself against the country's fastest sprinters. For years, he had dominated Division III and proven his worth in smaller meets. But this was the moment when the real selectors, coaches, and fans paid attention. The stakes were high and the competition was fierce. Only the best would earn the right to represent the United States on the world's biggest stage. Sam's performance at the trials surprised many who had written him off. He didn't just show up. He ran with authority, pushing alongside Olympians and elite athletes who had been groomed for years on professional circuits. Though he didn't make the Olympic team, his times and presence on the track proved one essential truth: he belonged. This was no lucky fluke or fading underdog story, but a competitor capable of running with the best. This moment was a turning point for Sam's visibility in the track world. Up to that point, only his home state and Division III insiders had watched him closely. Now, national media and athletic communities beyond Wisconsin began to take notice. The kid from Oshkosh was becoming more than just a local sensation. He was an emerging name in American sprinting. However, despite the newfound attention, doubts lingered outside the sport's inner circles. Skeptics questioned whether this appearance was all Sam could do. A brilliant flash, but not enough to break into the global elite. Was his personal best too far from the sub-10-second barrier that defines world-class sprinters? The consensus was cautious optimism mixed with skepticism. For Sam himself, the trials unlocked new fuel. It was clear he had the talent to compete at the highest level, but his journey was far from over. The question wasn't just about making a team, it was whether he could bridge the enormous gap between his current abilities and the best sprinters in the world. He was standing at a crossroads, with the world watching to see which path he would take next. Facing these challenges without major sponsorships or support made the road ahead even steeper. Unlike many elite sprinters who enjoy full professional contracts, Sam was still navigating the realities of life outside elite circles. His ambition was clear, though, to prove definitively that he wasn't just an anomaly, but a legitimate force on the track. This period revealed an often overlooked truth about American athletics. There are talented athletes with world-class potential far beyond the spotlight and fame. Sam's story became a symbol of perseverance and calling attention to the many athletes grinding behind the scenes, waiting for their moment. The trials were more than a race. They were a catalyst for redefining what it means to fight for greatness from unlikely places. In the face of so many hurdles, Sam refused to settle for partial success. He was determined to chase his dream as far as it would take him. His next move would embody this determination, showing the kind of sacrifice and boldness required to reach the sport's pinnacle. Moving beyond Wisconsin to surround himself with world-class training and competition was the leap Sam needed to make. The risky move to Florida. Determined to break into the world-class level, Sam made a choice few would dare, leaving everything familiar behind to train with the best coaches and athletes in Florida. This wasn't a sponsored move or a decision backed by financial security. Sam had no pro contract, no major endorsements, and no elite facilities waiting for him. Instead, he took a job at a small regional airport in Wisconsin, working through the off-season, saving every penny meticulously. This airport job was the foundation of his dream. The long hours, the routine shifts, it all became part of the sacrifice fueling his ambition. Far from the glory of the track, Sam hustled in relative obscurity, knowing each dollar he earned brought him closer to the chance to train at Star Athletics, one of the most respected sprint groups in the nation. Under the guidance of Dennis Mitchell, a coach with a proven history of developing champions like Sha'Carri Richardson, Sam stepped into a new world, training alongside athletes who had competed at the Olympics and World Championships, including Kenny Bednarek, who placed fourth in the 2025 World Championships. Sam's abilities began to sharpen even more. Mitchell noticed almost immediately that Sam belonged in this elite group. The raw talent, work ethic, and mental toughness that had carried Sam from Division III to the Olympic trials now found fertile ground under expert coaching and proper competition. Practice sessions became proving grounds where Sam slowly shed the limits imposed by his past. Despite his potential, the early part of the 2026 season was a mixed bag. Sam raced 5 times, including 3 races at altitude, which tends to aid sprint times. Yet, he still hadn't broken the 10-second barrier nor placed higher than 3rd in any race. Observers returned to skepticism, wondering if this move was a fool's errand, a D3 athlete chasing a dream just out of reach. But this phase was necessary, a grinding, sometimes frustrating period where progress wasn't always apparent on the stopwatch. What mattered was what was happening deep beneath the surface. Sam's body was adapting, his technique improving, and his mindset strengthening for the break he knew was coming. Behind the scenes, the investment of time, money, and effort was immense. Living far from family and community in Florida meant sacrificing comfort and stability. Sam was betting everything on himself, fueled by years of rejection and conviction that he belonged with the world's best. This move illustrates a truth about elite sport. Talent alone isn't enough. It takes sacrifice, grit, and the courage to leave your comfort zone to discover just how far you can go. Sam's airport job, long hours, and relocation were the unseen foundation for a breakthrough that would shake the sport. What followed would not only silence the doubters, but challenge the very assumptions about where sprinting talent can be found and who deserves a chance on the world stage. Sam was on the verge of rewriting the rules. The story of working through doubt and sacrifice leads naturally to the moment when all those years of effort exploded in a world-shaking performance. Training with the best. Arriving in Florida, Sam Blaskowski found himself in a completely different environment, surrounded by world-class athletes and coaches at Star Athletics. This was a place where Olympic champions and World Championship finalists shaped their craft daily, and the competition in practice was as intense as any meet. For Sam, training alongside the likes of Sha'Carri Richardson and Kenny Bednarek meant pushing beyond anything he had experienced before. It was a test not just of speed, but of mindset and resilience. Dennis Mitchell, the legendary coach behind these athletes, quickly noticed something rare about Sam. Despite coming from Division III and a background without scholarships, Sam displayed a relentless work ethic and raw talent that made him an undeniable part of this elite group. Mitchell's ability to nurture raw potential meant that Sam was in the right place to convert promise into world-class performance. The training sessions became crucibles, where his bursts of speed and technical improvements were hammered out daily. Still, progress was not immediate or dramatic early on. Sam's personal best stood at 10.05 seconds as the 2026 season began, a time fast, but just shy of elite standards. He raced multiple times, including challenging meets at altitude, which often help sprinters shave fractions off their time. Yet, he didn't break the 10-second barrier or climb onto the podium. The doubters quietly returned, whispering that maybe Sam had reached his peak already. But what wasn't visible to the casual observer was the transformation happening beneath the surface. Coaches saw improvements in his drive phase, turnover rate, and endurance, while Sam's confidence steadily grew. The slow, steady progress was the foundation upon which a major breakthrough would be built. His patience and willingness to trust the process became just as important as his speed on the track. Living apart from family and everything comfortable tested Sam's resolve in ways many never see. The long days of training alongside Olympic athletes were matched by quiet nights of sacrifice, missing loved ones and wrestling with uncertainty. It was a reminder that world-class talent often requires world-class commitment, far beyond the stopwatch. Yet Sam's passion and belief never wavered. This phase highlighted a seldom-told part of elite sport. Talent is just the beginning. It's the daily grind, the hard choices, and the mental toughness during times of invisible progress that separate those who break through. Sam had chosen the hard road, embracing every hurdle with quiet determination. This grit set the stage for something spectacular. His story also challenged the narrative about where elite proof comes from. Here was a young athlete with no lucrative contracts, no flashy endorsements, and no blue-chip college pedigree, yet training and improving alongside the sport's best. It questioned traditional scouting and development pipelines. Not all talent follows predictable paths. As seasons shifted, an electric tension built quietly around Sam. Those closest to him sensed the imminence of a breakthrough, a defining moment when preparation and opportunity would collide. It was a promise that something historic was about to happen, one that would rewrite expectations. When it finally came, that moment didn't just shatter personal limits. It altered the sprinting world's perception of what's possible from overlooked talent. It was the kind of performance that stops time and demands the world pay attention. The historic 9.89-second race. May 30th, 2026, is the date forever etched in Sam Blaskowski's journey and in sprinting history. At the Music City Track Carnival in Cleveland, Tennessee, Sam stepped onto the line, carrying years of sacrifice, doubt, and determination. This was his first legal attempt to break 10 seconds, and the moment held meaning far beyond any stopwatch reading. When the gun fired, Sam exploded off the blocks, driving through the 100-meter dash in a way that stunned everyone watching. The clock stopped at 9.89 seconds, his first ever sub-10-second run.
He's getting challenged, but he will hold off all challengers. And Blaskowski comes through in 9.89. It's wind legal. It's a new meet record.
What makes this achievement jaw-dropping is that he skipped the 9.9 entirely, dropping from his previous best of 10.05 straight to 9.89 in a single race. Such a leap is nearly unheard of at this elite level. To put this in perspective, that same time earned Noah Lyles, an 8-time world champion and Olympic gold medalist, the bronze medal at the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. Sam had just matched one of the fastest times ever run that season in the world, instantly placing himself among the very best sprinters globally. The kid from Wisconsin, overlooked for years, had arrived on the biggest stage. Dennis Mitchell was not surprised by this breakthrough. Months of focused training had indicated this result was coming, a matter of when, not if. What amazed others was how quickly Sam transformed from a Division III athlete with no support to a true world contender. It was a validation of his resilience and the faith his coach had shown in him. There is one other historic aspect of Sam's 9.89-second run that the track world can't overlook. This time makes him the fastest white sprinter ever recorded in over 60 years of professional sprinting. It's a fact that has sparked conversations about representation, genetics, and opportunity in athletics. This wasn't just a breakthrough performance, it was a record-setting achievement that transcends the sport's usual narratives. After the race, Sam posted a simple message on social media. Breaking 10 was not just the goal, it became an obsession. No lengthy speeches or name-calling, just the quiet acknowledgement of years of discipline, sacrifice, and belief coming together on one extraordinary day. That one number, 9.89, symbolized every hard moment and every dollar saved working at that regional airport. This run also sent a message to those who ignored him. The Division I coaches who never called, the programs that scrolled past his name, the skeptics who doubted his ceiling. They were now watching, confronted with the reality that their rejection had missed something special. The kid nobody wanted had become one of the elite. With Los Angeles 2028 just 2 years away, Sam is poised to take center stage at the Olympics on American soil, where the underdog story will inspire millions. The 100-meter final in front of 80,000 home fans could be the ultimate proving ground, a chance to silence the doubters once and for all and rewrite sprinting history forever. Sam's journey from D3 anonymity to historic sprinter challenges, what it means to find and develop talent. The next chapter will test whether this remarkable rise can culminate in Olympic medals and global glory. What comes next? Sam Blaskowski's meteoric rise from an overlooked Division III athlete to one of the fastest men on the planet has already rewritten many rules in sprinting. But the story is far from over. With the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics just 2 years away, Sam enters what could be the prime of his career. The home crowd, the bright lights, and the 100-meter final on American soil will offer him an opportunity few ever get, a chance to prove the doubters wrong on the world's biggest stage. This moment won't just be about medals or records. It will be a testament to resilience, proving that world-class talent can emerge from unexpected places. Sam's journey challenges the conventional wisdom about scouting, recruiting, and developing sprinters. It forces the sport to rethink how it searches for greatness beyond elite pipelines and big-name programs. His story is inspirational for anyone who has ever been passed over or underestimated. It shows that raw talent combined with unwavering belief and sacrifice can break barriers that seemed impossible. In an era where sports are often dominated by privileged access, Sam's breakthrough stands as a reminder that opportunity must be more inclusive. On a personal level, the next 2 years will be defining. Sam faces the pressure of living up to expectations, maintaining form, and competing against athletes with more resources and experience. Yet, his history suggests he thrives in adversity and draws strength from every obstacle. His grit and focus will be tested as never before. The broader track community is watching closely. His 9.89-second run was a wake-up call not just for coaches and scouts, but for aspiring athletes everywhere. It proves that the sport still has unexplored depths and that talent can be found in the most unlikely places if given the chance. That potential signals a shift toward a more open and diverse future in sprinting. Sam's emergence also sparks important conversations about race, representation, and history in athletics. As the fastest white sprinter in modern history, he has challenged stereotypes and expanded the narrative about who can excel in sprinting. This milestone may inspire a new generation to believe that backgrounds don't dictate potential. Another key part of Sam's future will be how he manages the business side of becoming a star. Faster times bring attention, but they also bring decisions about sponsorships, coaching changes, media demands, and long-term career planning. The challenge will be staying grounded while his life becomes louder. If he surrounds himself with the right people, he can protect the hunger that got him this far while gaining the support he once lacked. There is also a mental battle ahead that may matter as much as the physical one. Sprinting is a sport decided by hundredths of a second, where confidence, timing, and composure can separate history from heartbreak. Sam will need to carry the same fearless mindset that helped him rise from obscurity, but now under a much heavier spotlight. Looking ahead, if Sam can maintain his trajectory and stay healthy, the Los Angeles Games could be the stage where this remarkable underdog story becomes a legend. Competing in front of a hometown crowd with the world watching brings unique motivation and pressure, but also the chance for an unforgettable moment in sports history. Regardless of the outcome in 2028, Sam's impact is already profound. He has exposed flaws in the system, inspired countless athletes, and reminded everyone that determination and talent often exist beyond the glitz and attention. That legacy may be his greatest achievement of all. As the countdown to the next Olympics begins, one thing is clear: Sam Blaskowski has earned a place among the elite, and the world will be paying close attention to every race he runs. His story is still unfolding, and whatever happens, he has already shattered expectations and opened new doors in track and field. Sam Blaskowski's journey from overlooked Division III hopeful to global sprinting sensation, is a powerful reminder that talent isn't limited by background or school. It's a story of grit, belief, and breaking barriers that inspires us all. If you enjoyed this deep dive into an incredible athlete's rise, be sure to like, subscribe, and join the conversation below. Don't miss what's next in this unforgettable story.